It's my pleasure to introduce our very first keynote, Sam Conaway. So Sam is the president of U.S. sales in the cardiology group for Boston Scientific. In this role, he has executive level strategic direction to Boston Scientific's U.S. cardiology sales division. He leads that group. He also leads coronary therapies, structural heart, cardiac rhythm management diagnosis, and atrial fib solutions for the business. He's chairman of Close the Gap, Boston Scientific's health equity program, and that combined with other programs, he leads a ton of things, including sales and planning and engagement across the entire portfolio of cardiology products for Boston Scientific. Additionally, he leads cross-functional teams focused on strategic alliances that enable customers compelling value propositions, and he has 30 plus years of medical device experience, including leadership roles at Guidant and Abbott Vascular. Sam started his career in medical technology as a cardiovascular technologist at Washington Hospital Center in Washington, D.C. And besides all that formal stuff, and I'll say something about each one of our keynotes because I have a relationship with him, Sam is just a delight. I was looking at some of his background and some of the things that people have to say about him. There is nothing bad in Sam Conaway's LinkedIn. All it says is love him, miss him, wish he were here. So I'm going to turn him over to you guys and have you enjoy a few minutes of Sam's time as well.
Well, it is a pleasure to be here, and it is a pleasure to be amongst all of you this afternoon. And whenever I get an opportunity to talk to a group like this, I get very excited because this is an opportunity to tell my story that hopefully will inspire many of you to pursue your goals, never look back, never let anyone kill your dreams, but also never let your starting point cause you not to move forward. And so that's where I'll start kind of with my story. As Ingrid said, I started out in the cardiac cath lab many, many years ago. And sometimes when you talk about 30 years plus, it gets very scary because I'm like, I am turning 60 this year and I can't believe it. So it's been a long time, but an amazing journey. So I actually started in the cath lab at 17 years old or 18 years old after being in the laundry of the hospital center in Washington, D.C. And so many of you are probably wondering, well, how did you end up in the laundry? What did you do after high school? Well, I was supposed to be a baseball player, but unfortunately I tore my rotator cuff and I wasn't able to accept my scholarship to go play baseball. And so being from a underprivileged family, not having much money to send us to college, my brother and my sister, I ended up taking a job in the hospital. And the hospital that I took the job in was Washington Hospital Center, which I did not realize was this cornerstone and a center of interventional cardiology. So in other words, all of the new technologies, all of the innovation was actually happening at the Washington Hospital Center in the cardiac cath lab, the heart station, and the ORs. And part of my job as a laundry specialist, I would take up the scrubs and the sheets and all the lab coats to the cardiac cath lab. And it was interesting. I showed up on time and I didn't steal anything from anyone's office. And they said, wow, what is a nice kid like you doing in the laundry? And so that's when I got a chance to become the orderly in the cardiac cath lab and did that job for probably 6 months. And during that time, I made sure that I was on time. I was, at the highest level of competency with managing the patients, but also took it as a learning opportunity. And I took one of the books that one of the technicians gave me called Gail Walraven's ECGs, and I actually learned from front to cover, from cover to back, in about 4 weeks how to read EKGs. And then I was given an opportunity to show my stuff when one of the physicians asked me, hey, I hear that you have learned how to read EKGs. Can you tell me what this EKG is? And I did that. And that's when I got an opportunity with the help of some very, very competent but great people to move into their cardiovascular school. So I was one of the youngest people to go to their cardiovascular school at about 18 or 19 years old. Can't remember which age I was. But once I went through that cardiovascular school, a couple things that I want to share with you. One, it was an opportunity of a lifetime. And I think a lot of times in life we get opportunities, but we don't know how important they are or how impactful they are. And fortunately, I realized that. And I studied like you wouldn't believe. And I finished at the top of my class, and I made sure that I was the best of the best when it came to going through the cardiovascular school. And then the next opportunity was to take the clinical. So everything that we learned in the classroom, we got to apply it to real patients. And that was, again, another lifetime opportunity because I was being trusted at the tender age of 19, 20 to actually work on patients alongside physicians. And that was just a huge opportunity. So I made sure that I was the best of the best. I can anticipate the instruments that I needed to give the physicians to make it successful, but also my patient care was at the highest level. And then, interesting things kind of come your way. This whole industry was developing right before my eyes. And because I was the best of the best in the cardiac cath lab, a chance to move into industry came for an opportunity for me at a very young age of 22. And so I was able to transition from that cardiovascular technologist to an industry rep very early on when all of these technologies were being developed. And so I was able to really take advantage of this huge growth from going from invasive, cutting open the chest to do bypass surgery, to balloon angioplasty, to coronary stents, to aortic valves. All these things evolved to minimally invasive procedures. And this was and is still one of the fastest growing pieces of the medical device arena. And so in that opportunity, I've been able to take on multiple roles. And that's another thing that I will give you is that as you go through your journey, it's so important that you get a broad experience. And so I went into marketing, I went into training, I went into HR. I cleaned out my file, made sure it was perfect so that everything that people read about me is perfect. But the point is, I had so many different experiences. Also, with that, you have to move. You have to be able to be flexible. If there's international assignments, if there's rotational assignments, do all those things. Make yourself available so that you get an opportunity to really grow your skill set, but impact your ability to be well received and given opportunities for growth. And now I fast forward to 30 years in the business. And one of the things that during my journey, I realized that a lot of people that look like me, a lot of women, people of color were not getting the same therapy that white males were getting. And that's why I went on this journey of health equity and started a program called Close the Gap, which is a program that we've been doing now for about 20 years at Boston Scientific. Very, very proud of this in that we are helping underserved patient populations get access to therapy that they would normally not get. And you wonder, what is he exactly talking about? I'm not talking about patients that don't have insurance. I'm talking about people that look just like you and I, that have jobs, that have insurance, but for whatever reason, they don't get the opportunity to get these life-saving therapies like white males. And so what we've done is we've gone out to hospitals and we've kind of worked with them to start programs to kind of wake the community up, wake up the referring physicians. We've also moved to making sure that we have people of color and women in all the clinical trials so that when we sit down with patients, we say, these devices not only were used in a broad population, but they were used in people like you, and here are the results. And we've also partnered with the advocacy groups to make sure that this is on the agenda with the ACC, the AHA, all the industry partners that really influence this space. So this Close the Gap work that I'm doing, very proud of. And the reason why I wanted to share that with you is because as you go on your journey, you will find things that really get you passionate. Go for it. If you know, just go for it, because in the initial phase of this Close the Gap initiative, I never forget one of the presidents of Guidant Corporation, her name was Ginger Graham. She said, Sam, you want to take on this underserved population? This is too big. This is too broad. You'll never make impact. Well, I'll tell you, 20 years later, we're making tremendous impact, so much impact that the FDA just mandated for all companies that you have to have a D&I strategy as you launch products, and you have to have a strategy around clinical trials where you have to include more than the population of people in order to get labeling on your products that these devices are suitable for people of color, women, etc. And so run to your dreams. These things can be very, 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 very impactful. And then finally, I'll just close with this. I'm so excited about being part of this mentoring program. I just want you to know you can ask me anything. That is the good side of it. There was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of challenges, a lot of people that didn't want me to be successful, a lot of things that came at me that I wasn't really ready for. But the one thing that I will tell you is find a mentor, find a coach, find a sponsor, find someone that can help you through this journey, because more than likely they have experienced things that you will experience during your journey. So with that, Ingrid, I hope that was what I was supposed to talk about. And I hope that was helpful. Any questions I can take right now, but that's who I am and that's where I've been.